Mary had been walking across Iceland for more than 2 weeks. She finally spotted a red building by the sea, but when she arrived there, she discovered it was a temporary research station. However, the research station was completely deserted inside. Desperate to survive, Mary pried open the door and went inside. She immediately began searching the rooms for food. When she found some in a cabinet, she stuffed it into her mouth and began to chew ravenously. They were expired crackers, but to Mary, they were the most delicious thing she'd had in 2 weeks. After eating her fill, she went to the bathroom to wash off the dirt and grime. The black water in the tub was a stark reminder of the hardships she had endured. Once she changed into clean clothes, she found a generator outside. She immediately pressed the generator's start button. Fortunately, it was still able to run. The lights it powered gave her a renewed sense of hope. But what surprised her even more was that there was also a radio in the room. She quickly turned it on and began calling for help. Maybe the island was just too far from the mainland. She shouted into the radio all night, but no one ever responded. Mary's spirits sank again. She deeply regretted coming here with her husband John. A month earlier, she and John had traveled together to Antarctica. They had been excited about the adventure ahead. Soon, they discovered an uninhabited island. Fearing their yacht might hit underwater reefs near the shore, they took a kayak instead to reach the island. But once they landed, they realized it was a barren, lifeless place, and it was far from the scenic paradise they had imagined. As they made their way to the far side of the island, they found an old, long-abandoned supply station. All of its equipment was unusable. Mary guessed it had been deserted for at least a decade. While they were hiking deeper into the island, dark storm clouds suddenly gathered overhead. By the time they returned to the kayak, a violent storm had already begun. The fierce winds and waves made it impossible to navigate the kayak. They had no choice but to return to the abandoned supply station. But when they tried to leave the next day, they were shocked to find the yacht missing. John was certain he had dropped the anchor himself. Could the storm's waves have carried it away? They searched the area for a long time, but there was no trace of the yacht. When the kayak eventually ran out of fuel, they had no choice but to give up the search. As they slowly paddled around the island, they noticed something strange. A large group of penguins had gathered at one end of the island, but they were in no mood to enjoy the sight. John went back onto the island, determined to climb to a high point and keep searching for the yacht. But once he reached the top, his view of the sea was limited. Everything else was just barren hills with not even a blade of grass. John fell into despair. He had no idea how to get Mary off this island.